Anne-Marie here for this week's weekly wrap-up. I've got 5 cards, some other little goodies going on, some organizational stuff. So here we go. So first of all, a little bit of story time. It was my birthday a couple weeks ago, and I got some birthday money, and I hit a couple of the 4th of July clearance stuff that was going on the Spellbinders website and the Sizzix website, and I found some hot foil plates I wanted, which led me to realize I've really got to master the actual use of the glimmer system that I bought secondhand several months ago that I tried like around New Year's and then got frustrated with and just let sit. So it's been several months, and I sat down with every little hot foil thing I had and a kind of random roll of foil that I picked, and I just kept going with every one of them. I just foiled everything I had, and I ended up with like a little pile of goodies that I cut out, and I think I got it. It's like, it's working. It's making sense to me. I just sat and I watched videos and did it until it worked. And so then I took all these little bits and pieces and kind of split them up so that I had at least 2 pieces on every card, because to me that makes it a little bit more unified. If I'm just slapping this on a card that's like really die cut heavy, but this is the only foil element, it just feels kind of weird to me. So I made sure to have at least 2 foiled elements, and I grabbed some 6x6 pads that I felt kind of went with the color, which ended up being this really pretty kind of dusty rose or dusty pink kind of color, and paired them up. So I kind of made like little mini kits. So for example, this is one of my mini kits that I haven't used yet. And then here's another one. Now see, this one, the hot foil pieces that I used, there's no sentiment. So I paired it with these cards because they had sentiments. So I could use the sentiments, but I could build the card with the hot foil elements kind of built in. So I've been working my way through those stacks of mini kits. And so far I've made these 5 cards. So here's my first one. I tried to tie in the little sparkles in the sentiment with some constellation paper in the background. But then I realized floral and constellations maybe doesn't go together. I don't know. I'm trying not to overthink it, you know, just the colors work, right? I tied in the navy blue and the constellation paper with some flowers, and yeah. I had this one. This kind of, I think, comes like as a default with your glimmer system when you get it. But something, I got to point this out to you because it's driving me nuts, and I have to share this so it will drive you nuts as well. Something I noticed on the hot foil plate and the design. Do you see that little notch there, right there? Notch, 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 notch. There's one there, there's one there. Not one here, but you know, that's the center, that's fine. But then look, no notch, no notch, no notch, no notch, no notch. Am I even in the right place? I am. So yeah, look, on this side, notch, on this side, no notch. That kind of thing drives me bonkers. I'm obviously still going to use it because, hello, it's a hot foil plate, and I don't think anybody else is going to necessarily notice those little notches, but maybe now you will. I had to share it with you, so I'm not the only one. All right, another one with that same kind of oval plate. So on both of these, I fussy cut out the plate because, again, I was just practicing. So I literally just got my cardstock, chopped it in half so it would fit through everything, and put as many hot foil plates as I could on it. practicing just the act of putting the foil on and running it through and putting the foil on and running it through. And then after I got done, I cut them into usable pieces. I would like to get to the point where I am foiling directly onto the panels, so I don't have to do that fussy cutting, because some of them don't come with dies. Like this one didn't come with a die. This one I had a heart panel, a heart plate, I mean, and it was only wide enough. I think maybe it was for slim lines or mini slim lines. It was only wide enough to really make half of a background. So I didn't get very specific or particular, and I just ran it through a second time next to it, and I had some overlap right here in the center. So that's why I put the sentiment there to cover it up, but still be able to use it. There is a way to be more precise with my placement. I'm just not there yet on my little hot foil journey. So, but I'm going to work on that next with like washi and hinging and whatever, more precise placement. But I thought this, I mean, it was totally acceptable. I think it completely worked. And I tried to tie the hearts in by using some heart background paper in the same color. Again, hearts and blue skies. I don't know if they totally go together, but again, I'm not going to overthink it. Right? Right. All right, this one, I got to play with a die that I've actually never used, I don't think. I think it was an AliExpress die from a long time ago. I don't buy on AliExpress anymore, but yeah, so it was like years ago that I bought this and I hadn't used it yet. It only runs out, like it spits one die cut out. So then I had to cut off, like I had to run it through twice, once with the green, once with the pink, and then cut out the pink flowers, and then a third time so I could cut this separate, so I could get some dimension and separation. And then I just added stickles to the centers and the little buds. But I kind of feel like I should have maybe gone in with some gesso or white acrylic paint and touched on the buds before I did the stickles. I don't know. But I thought that die worked really nicely with this sentiment. All right, so those are the 5 cards that I have made so far this week. And I've got 4 more kind of waiting in the wings that I hope to get to because I want to complete the project before I move it off my desk. All right, so next I'm just gonna pull these in and show you really quick. I found this puzzle last night. It was blast from the past from my childhood. It caused me to break out into song and sing 50 Nifty United States, if you know that. I'm sure you're singing it right now too. It was incomplete, sadly. It was missing a couple states and it was missing some pieces. So I ended up pitching the puzzle, but I ended up keeping the puzzle pieces because I thought these would make cute little embellishments. So yeah. So I don't have all of them, but like we've taken a trip out to Wyoming and South Dakota, and we might be going to Boston, you know, like that kind of thing. So I thought these would be fun to keep for that type of project. The last thing I have to show you is I'm redoing my space a little bit. It was going to be like a huge revamp, but I just kind of kept scaling it back and until I've arrived here. So I'm excited because first and foremost, I'm getting a bigger workspace. You can't see it now, but my workspace is very crowded. Like there's really just room here where you're seeing, and I can barely fit like a 2-page 12 by 12 in the space. So whenever I use my trimmer, I store it off my desk and I have to hike it up, and it's still like, it sticks off the side a little bit. So I bought a new desktop that is larger, but I'm still going to be attached to my cubes and use my desktop legs that I have. And then I have 4 cubes that are open, and I am trying to hide the clutter. So I'm going to try these. I don't love the slouchy, but they're this really sturdy, thick kind of felt. I love how kind of soft they are. I like how the gray looks with the black. Okay, here's the assembled kind of cube. The only problem is these are gold and my knobs are silver. And guess what? It bugs me. Shocker, I know. But my plan right now is to put some washi around it and just cover over the ones that are facing out with my black alcohol marker and call it good. We'll see. We'll see. Because yeah, it's a lot of silver on my Kallax. So this just stands out. I don't know. Not a big deal, I know. But the plan is that my stamps are going to go in here. You know, I just got these bins and they're not going to fit side by side, of course. Luckily, these bins are very useful and they're going to have a new home. And my stamps, I think, are going to go side by side without the bins. Yeah, they fit in here perfect. Side by side. And frankly, they were kind of crowded in the Ephemera. That's the plastic bins. They were very, however you say it. They were kind of crowded in these bins. But in here, there's definitely room to grow. Like I've got a good 2 or 3 inches there. And it's still the same concept of I can just pull it out, flip through, and put it back. So I'm excited for that. We'll see how it goes. Just, you know, theory and practice, 2 different things, right? So we'll see, because they also fit nicely in the bins in my cubes. And I want to get an Kallax drawer unit, but they were out of stock. So hopefully next week, I think is when they said it'll be back. And maybe I'll have, you know, some new organizational stuff to share next week. So anyway, that's it for the weekly wrap up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday with another process video. All right, bye.